This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, August 24. Health officials in Barbados are keeping a close eye on the African Swine Flu, which has been detected in the region. Speaking this afternoon at the Grantley Adams International Airport on the arrival of the final shipment of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said government will be proactive on the issue.
The African Swine Flu is now in our region. On the 29th of July of this year, the Dominican Republic recorded its presence there. We all know what the swine flu has done and how it has decimated animals and livestock, pigs from a bigger country as China to some European countries to other countries across the world. It is going to mean that we have to take proactive measures. And this may mean nothing to you, but it does to me because we were at a similar moment in January of 2020. And when others were not prepared to listen and to watch and to plan, we took a decision, and I thank my Minister of Health and all of the public officials of Barbados for putting us in a position to be able to do early planning.
Barbadians now have the option of 3 different COVID-19 vaccine brands to choose from, and Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic is encouraging residents to get vaccinated.
It's the first time that we can say that we have the capacity now to offer 3 choices of vaccines to our countrymen and women. It started with AstraZeneca, then we had Sinopharm, and we've recently been able to acquire the Pfizer vaccines. Our struggles in acquiring vaccines has been as enduring as our struggles in fighting the COVID pandemic. Like COVID fatigue, we've also experienced vaccine fatigue. Trying, getting promises of dates of arrivals that some of them have not yet happened. We've also been on vaccine lockdown, just like COVID lockdowns, because there were some occasions when we thought we probably would not reach the point where we are at today. But I want to say that it is really a pleasure to have had the support and the cooperation of the international community through Gavi and COVAX that really has facilitated the vaccine and the final batch of vaccines that we are here to receive today.
1 in every 3 adults is vaccinated in Barbados. Those statistics were shared today by PAHO WHO representative for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean countries, Dr. Yetis Gabriel. Given brief remarks on the arrival of the AstraZeneca vaccines today, he says the country's vaccination numbers are moving in the right direction.
There is a good news in progress in Barbados. 1 in 3 persons are now fully vaccinated. The vaccination coverage has increased by 2-fold from May 17 to August 16, 2021 in Barbados. If vaccines are widely available and accepted by the most skeptic and hesitant vulnerable population, Barbados should achieve the target of 40% by the end of September and maintain 60% immune population before its historic political achievement in 2022.
Now to the latest COVID-19 numbers. 26 COVID-19 cases consisting of 14 males and 12 females were recorded in Barbados on Monday from the 1,300 tests conducted by the Barbados Santos Public Health Laboratory. There are 166 people in isolation. Barbados has recorded 4,694 cases since the start of the pandemic in March last year. The death toll from the viral illness is 48. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, 103,822 first doses of the vaccine have been administered. The number of people who have received second doses and are fully vaccinated is 91,186. This figure represents 33.6% of the population. To news from the floor of Parliament today, Housing Minister Dr. William Dugard says government will be embarking on a revolutionary housing program that will see low-income earners having access to affordable housing.
The third leg of the whole program to launch. And it's a bit of a teaser because I haven't launched it yet, but when I launch that final leg, which I'm tempted to say what the name is, but I will hold it for the launch. It will be revolutionary to be able to give even those making between $1,000 and $2,000 a chance and access to housing in this country. And this is something that has consumed the ministry, and it's something that we work on every day. And I'm very, very close to launching and making it a reality for many, many people in this country. So we have a bright future. We have challenging times, but we have to face our future, and we have to embrace new technologies and new ways of doing business. But at the end of the day, we must always and constantly recognize that we must work every day to take this country forward, even if by 1 inch.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, having only about 20,000 cases and almost 600 deaths from COVID-19, Haiti has been largely spared the pandemic's ravages. Its first batch of vaccines only arrived in July, but few Haitians have expressed interest in getting the jab. Now, the government's scheme to vaccinate residents has been sidelined by disaster relief efforts due to the recent deadly earthquake and a tropical storm. More in this report from Al Jazeera News.
Scores of families are struggling in this muddy field. There's no water, toilets, or effective shelter. A piece of plastic to cover your family is a luxury here.
When it rains, we get wet. When you lay down, you get wet. We don't have a tarpaulin. We have nothing but problems.
When we visited them, they'd been there almost a week, but nobody from the government had come to help. Even worse, a camp leader and others we talked to told us that materials that do arrive are being taken by thugs or even law enforcement officers.
When the police come to provide security, they take the aid away and it never comes back. When we go to the police station, we see them taking it to their cars.
Corruption has long been woven into Haitian political life, but right now, with the president recently assassinated, sheer organisational capacity also seems depleted.
On the international front, the UN Human Rights Chief, Michelle Bachelet, says she has received credible reports of serious violations committed by the Taliban in Afghanistan, including summary executions of civilians, and Afghan security forces have surrendered. More in this report from Reuters TV.
In particular, we have also received credible reports of serious violation of international humanitarian law and human rights abuses taking place in many areas under effective Taliban control. They include, among others, summary executions of civilians and all the combat members of the Afghan National Security Forces. Restrictions on the right of women, including the right to move around freely and girls' right to attend school. Recruitment of child soldiers and repression of peaceful protests and expression of dissent. A fundamental red line will be the Taliban's treatment of women and girls and respect for their rights to liberty, freedom of movement, education, self-expression and employment, guided by international human rights norms.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.